Thank you, Angel, and Heidi ho, everyone. Welcome aboard. It's good to have your company, as always. It's Tuesday, the 11th of May, and I'm a bit bored. I can't see me getting in the market too often this week. But that said, we are in pretty good position as far as I'm concerned because we've had some breakouts, in particular on the Aussie pairs, and of course the pound. Didn't the pound go? That's not a bad thing for us because if it's determined by the market that those breakouts are false, then we'll hope to take advantage of that, and we'll go through that in a little bit. Speaking of the pound, let me have a look and see what it's done and if it's worth trading a breakout today. Answer, look, it has gone into consolidation on the 1 hour chart there, as you can see. After that big rally yesterday, it doesn't matter why for me the rally was. It really matters that if, and the if happened. What I then see is where it broke out from, and on the daily chart it's telling me that this level was the breakout level, and if it's to be false, then this will be where it's false underneath that bar. The problem I have with trading that, and there are a couple of ways that I trade breakouts these days, one of them, or false breakouts these days, one of them is to place the order directly underneath that bar with the stop loss above. I don't think that would be particularly wise in this case. Two reasons. One, I think this level is probably where the stop loss needs to go, and that would give us a pretty big risk in terms of pips, which would be, around about 270 pips, and the nearest support level is only 50 pips away. So that doesn't give us a very good reward to risk on our first take profit. Generally, I'm looking for 1 to 3. So that doesn't mean 3 to 1. That means 1 to 3. So the risk is 1 and the reward is 1/3 of that. So in this case, that would have to be around about 80 pips or 90 pips, even something like that. And it's nowhere near that. So what I will rather do is look for, maybe, this is the daily chart, don't forget, maybe a trade line coming through here that we can trade a false break off on a smaller time frame, or even a daily time frame, or simply wait until we come back into this range and then look for a lower high and play the range. It's pretty much that simple for me. So I don't need to go guessing or looking for setups that may not be there just because I want them to be there. But I do have question marks around this, and that will be determined obviously in the next couple of days. Probably expecting consolidation today. If it wants to go, then maybe it goes again, but probably expecting a little bit of consolidation around the daily pivot, and we'll see how that pans out. I'm not that keen, as I said, to get into it. Speaking of the breakouts, we'll have a good look at those now because I'm not going to trade the pound breakout. I said in particular the pound pairs. Let's have a look at so the Aussie pairs. Let's have a look at that, and we'll go through what I consider to be great opportunities now. The Aussie pairs put in some very big key reversal bars yesterday. I think when we were in the show, the Aussie was rallying quite strongly. Yeah, and then it all fell to pieces. Why? I don't know. I'm not a fundamentalist, and I really don't have a reason for that. Somebody will, and somebody will tell me. But primarily, as I said yesterday on Aussie CAD, I think this was in a perfect position to get short because it had come to the top of the range, and at the time, where were we? I think on the hourly chart we were around about the top of that range, in here somewhere, and we were really looking for exactly this to happen. The only problem, of course, was that we never got a pullback bar, so we couldn't really play a false break of that level. But that's exactly how it panned out, and if you were a mind, as it was I, to play the range, g'day Paul P, then hopefully you found a way to get into that. The road forward from here on Aussie CAD is pretty much the same as yesterday. I'd be looking for a daily pivot and weekly pivot test almost without doubt. You can see that little false break of the 94.50-ish area. And now we seem to have a little bit of a similar consolidation going on here. And I'll be looking for this to go to daily and weekly pivot. I might even be very tempted to trade the smaller timeframes on these pairs today, anticipating that they will come back. So let's have a look at that. What do I need to see? Well, if you go back to the bigger picture, momentum seems to be to the downside. So you'd be looking to trade this counter trend, really. That said, when I'm trading counter trend, I'm looking for two things. Number one, this is on smaller timeframes. Thank you, Lewis. Cheers, mate. Tell you what, I'm not feeling that great. I had the AstraZeneca jab yesterday, and boy, oh boy, they said you might get a few side effects like flu symptoms. They were right. That's how I feel. So I'm looking for two things here. One is a reversal pattern, and I have that already in a double bottom here. You took the Medina. Okay, I didn't have a choice because of my age. They said, here's what you've got to have. We'll kill you first. Just kidding. And I've also got it in a bullish engulfing bar here. I'm certainly looking for a higher low. Have I got that higher low? Well, I've got what I call the porcupine here, which makes it very, very difficult to trade. That's on the 30-minute chart. Maybe we can have a look on the hourly and see how that's looking. I'm quite interested in this. Again, you've got the double bottom. Haven't got the higher low yet. So that's kind of what I'm sweating on. Not there on an hourly. Is there on a 30-minute? Perhaps, but I don't trust it. And I don't trust it because of low test, high test. They're all over the shop. So I'll wait on that and maybe have a look on the hourly chart. That is Aussie CAD. Now, of course, we are in a short Aussie CAD, and I'm more than happy to play the short-term long, but I want to get most of it off at the pivots here if I can get into that. I am very serious. Well, I'm not seriously considering I'm going to do it, which is why I've started with Aussie CAD. Those of you who are in this trade with me, I am now going to bank some more profit. So I'm going to drag my stop loss from where it is now to just above or just on DR2 there, which gets us above the monthly pivot and puts how much more in our bank account? Another 60 odd pips, and that's fine by me. So we'll move our stop loss to 95.83. 95.83 for Aussie CAD. Cheers, Scalper Joe. I'll hang in there, mate. Don't worry. Boy, can't I see that? No, that's what I can. Did I say 95.83? I think I did. 9583. So there you go. If you're following this one, I have now banked some more on Aussie CAD. Let's move on to Aussie Yen now. Aussie Yen. Sorry, I went straight through Aussie Swissing. I shouldn't have done that. Reason I shouldn't have done that is because this is a classic scenario, and I would imagine that trend traders would be looking to jump on this because we've got a massive clear rejection of last week's weekly pivot, no close above it. This is a daily chart I'm looking at, and every time we got to the monthly, it just psst, psst, psst. Do you like that? I might use that. And now we're having another crack at these highs at the top of the range. This, I think, is setting up nicely for a short, and I'm not sure what I need to see here right now. Let me go a little bit wider. Giving me the signal that we've had a false break of that trade line. But gee, it's a mess, isn't it? But we've now come strongly back above it. We've got a daily pivot test and rejection. We're now having another crack at that. Don't see a reason to go short right now. What's the 30 showing me? No, I'm way off beam in terms of a setup. So we'll have to wait on that. Maybe here's what happens. If we're fortunate, we'll get a break above here. We'll come back below the trade line and retest the confluence area. That would be my signal to go short. So looking very closely at Aussie Swissy as well. I'll look at Aussie Yen because we have been talking a lot about Aussie Yen, and I'm of exactly the same opinion as Ash. I'm really sweating on getting into this short because I think it's going to be a very, very nice conveyance if it does come off. Now, we spoke yesterday about false breaks, and this may well be one of those. And that bar there is going to be of interest to a lot of people, not to me. Why? Because, as you know, I do not trade bearish bars short. Well, that have bearish bodies, sorry. I don't trade them short. So I'm looking here for, again, the lower high. It's in a perfect position to get that. Smaller time frame is kind of threatening. Looks a little bit like a head and shoulders there. Have we had a neckline break? No. And we've now gone into consolidation around the pivot. I am seeking a short here, but I don't know if today may not be the day as well. But if I were to get, again, this is exactly the same trade, no surprise. Aussie Swiss, Aussie Yen, very, very similar. Get above here, turn this into a false break, retest the confluence, and then go short. So I'm keen on the Aussie pairs, given what we saw yesterday, those big attempts to go long that failed. I'm going long on, I'm looking for a long gyro on the Aussie CAD, but only on the small time frame. I'm trading the range, right? Like I said yesterday. I'm looking to trade this up to here, but that's as far as I really want to go. I have no reason to believe that this is going long, none at all. So I'm pretty much just trading the range, mate. We're coming off the bottom of that range, perhaps, and I just want to play the pivot. That's all. I'd actually be happier if we came down to here and tested that level. If we were to test that level, and I got a higher low based on these lows, I think that's going to be an excellent trade. That could be accommodated by this support trade line, which goes up through there. So same in reverse as I was talking about on the other Aussie pairs. Underneath, consolidate, back above, retest, trade, get out there. I think that would be an excellent opportunity for us to make some money. Yeah, look, 100% behind that sentiment, Lewis. 100% behind it, mate. And we may see that on, what's that date? Everyone's got in their heads. May 14th. May 14th. I might get into trouble. G'day, Ash. How you doing, bud? Put your microphone down, mate.
Sorry, buddy.
You're right.
Yeah, looks like May the 14th is shaping up quite well at the minute. FTSE's open up very negatively, and there's plenty of volume to the downside as well. So potential opportunity, I think, with the FTSE today. If we can get a little pop to the upside. I mean, I can show you this if you like. And if you're not finished, that's fine, mate. And I'll show you in a second.
Yeah, look, there's nothing urgent, mate. Really, there isn't. I'm keen to trade the euro as well, but there's nothing setting up at the moment. Okay. And as you know, as everyone in the room should know, I do not trade the first 30-minute bar of London session anyway. So, except to trade the pound breakout, of course, which we're not trading today.
Right. Well, let me show you this. The FTSE has broken to the downside, which is grand. Now, if this pops back up again, I'm going to get in here. So I'm going to get into the downside. I'm not sure whether there's going to be lots of room. I've got a little trend line now. That might be an area. I've just had a look at some of the drivers. I also posted in the Telegram group about a dollar Swiss long, which we'll have a look at in a moment if anybody's part of that. That looks like the target down there. So another 50 pips to the downside on the FTSE, I think, would be good. Wouldn't mind getting in here. There is a pivot which is the slight danger just above here. So this has to be worthwhile. Actually, let's just mark this off again. I think that is the target there, which looks pretty good. Not nice, nice horizontal level there. But as I say, there is that pivot. So if an entry can be established around here, it looks like there could be, yeah, a quite nice 2-to-1 trade there. There's no point in doing it here just because of the risk to reward ratio, even though it's got a pretty good chance of just continuing to drop here. It doesn't, at this stage, it's not looking like it's wanting to come back at all, but these things can change relatively fast. So I'm going to put on a trade on at 7005. Actually, I might do it on the same as everybody else as well. Which means I'll trade the UK 100 today rather than the futures. And the reason for that is that I don't intend to be in for too long. So it's going to be worth 70.27 as a potential entry. Stops up at the weekly pivot, just above. I think will be okay because this area should hold, and I wouldn't really want to see it closing above there, but it may just get through, and we might get some kind of spike. So it's going to be around about 42 pips stop loss, but a grab of possibly 85 to the downside. So see if that can establish itself. I might even get an order in on this one here, but I've got at this stage a dollar Swiss long, as I say, from which I did post into the chat room, and what I was looking at was this inverted head and shoulders down here. Now it's my preferred area to get in down here, but that really wasn't possible. This is an hourly chart. That really wasn't possible to do because, firstly, for me, I was asleep, but also, hi, Hanan. Hi, Lewis. Hi, Jara and Sui. Who else is here with us today? Hopefully my chat's going to work today. It was difficult to do because the price action was below the daily pivot, so it wasn't really showing support except for the inverted head and shoulders area. And also, I don't like these right shoulders when they are not above a trend line too much. But prices obviously popped now. Now you should still get. I would have thought you'd get a similar price if we do get any kind of downdrift here. But I'm aiming for about a 3-to-1 here on this. So just to clarify for anybody that's in the Telegram group, the stops are around about 14, and the target's around about 40. So it's about 2.5-to-1, slightly better. I've moved it just below the weekly pivot. Now in the group, I've put it that the target is 90.57. But it's around that area, and I'm just going to have a look. I might end up kind of moving the target up as we go, depending on the velocity of the move. You know, if it really starts to extend and it's looking to accelerate, then I'll just tip it up just a little bit more. But for right now, I've just got it just below, just in case I'm not able to watch the chart. You know, and we're talking as the show's going on. So I'll probably manage it slightly differently later on. So it's okay to have your target at 57, but just be aware that this thing could turn around slightly before or maybe even a little bit after. So make a judgment call as it goes. But it looks like it's an inflation story, mate, which I find quite interesting to find that the driver could be something to do with inflation, and yet and yet gold has actually been drifting slightly, which I obviously is a kind of a reaction to what's going on with the dollar, and we are seeing some dollar strength. Here's gold though. So gold has to get through this area for it to be confirmed that we're breaking out of what is a nicely established channel here. And if it does pop, then I would suspect we're going to see those highs again if it can get up here. So there's loads of room here just to kind of let gold do its thing. this is the tricky zone. Now we know that gold is a hedge against inflation, but of course, if the inflation number does pick up this week, the CPI numbers do pick up this week, then the dollar is also going to be something that people will potentially buy, because then the anticipation that some kind of interest rate move or some kind of monetary stimulus move might have to come into play a little bit earlier. Yeah, gold is definitely at the resistance level, as is silver as well. You know, silver's not at the resistance level, but they're going to be tied together. But gold is on the pattern. It looks like it should come down here. And it's going to be interesting to see how it reacts with the dollar. Now, if you see those bond yields again pushing to the upside, then I wouldn't want to be putting my money on gold. But if the bond yields are stable, and yet we still see the dollar have some kind of rally, then I think gold is still a decent long. Probably not here, but it still looks like a pretty decent long. So now I want to keep my eye on that FTSE just to make sure I don't miss the price point here. Oh, look, it may not come back. And give us the entry on the FTSE, which would be a bit of a shame, because while it's not touched that lower level, I think the trade is still on. Now we do see that monthly pivot down there. It's going to start getting a bit too close. Yeah, it's going to start getting a bit too close to that lower level to be able to take the trade. I don't want to take it after it's bounced. If it comes down, touches and bounces, it's too late for me. Not to say that I don't think that there's some more bearish price action, because it looks like there is, because this move is being created also by the inflation picture. Overnight, we had news from China as well, that the inflation picture over there is starting to look hot as well. The PPI index rose 4.4% on the year in March, the fastest growth since July 2018. So I suppose any inflation doubters are probably starting to now question their theory about what might happen with inflation.
Are we on short-term numbers though, Ash? Is this sustainable in this environment?
Inflation? Well, it appears that it says here that the trend further strengthened in April as prices of coal, steel, cement, and glass increased significantly, and I think you could probably throw in oil as well. I think that the fact that we've had such a boost in commodities will inevitably start to hit those purchasing managers. So it's more of a question: do those commodity prices remain high? And if we consider what's going to be the potential driver for that, then there's two things that have been at play recently. And obviously the first thing is the world coming back online, which meant that there was a lot more demand for this stuff. But there's also been a lot of supply issues, those semiconductors and there's been a microchip shortage and all sorts of things that have been going on. So at this stage, you'd have to say yes until that story changes. I would have thought then we'd have to say yes, because even though the demand may manage to be met by what's currently in the factories, the supply issue is problematic. I mean, that Suez Canal situation as well probably didn't help matters. I wouldn't know what the actual numbers on that were, but I would have thought that probably didn't help matters either. So I suppose we're looking out to see what else could start disrupting the supply side, and if there is anything else that could disrupt supply, then I think there's every chance. The freeze in Texas with what happened with oil probably helps oil companies in many respects, because of the glut of supply that they probably already had in the background. We also had that disruption recently from that dark side group. Those little things, I suppose, do matter when we're looking at the big picture. So I'm looking at the whole thing, mate, and just waiting to see is there anything else. There's a lot of tension right now, particularly with China. Story that was floating around here yesterday that China, there's been a paper released that suggested that the Chinese military were testing SARS as a potential way to fight a third world war 5 years before COVID came out. Now, I don't know if you. I saw that. I saw that on Sky News Australia. Now the problem is it was on the internet, so
Ooh.
that could have been easily that icon could have been easily put up on screen. And this is the problem with news and things that are going on right now, is that it's really difficult to trust the source because it can be so easily embellished
In
that
particular, Sky News, who are absolutely rampant at running with stuff that is unsubstantiated.
right, right. Well, I mean,
Horrible,
if you haven't
horrible.
heard that over in Australia, then I would suspect that there's a bit of fake news going on. Yeah, I think you're right, Sweet. I think you're right. Could I open my FTSE on a higher time frame? Yep. Here.
Joira, I'm seeing your setup on euro dollar. I don't want to take it, and I'll go through that in a minute.
Yeah, I'll be interested to know what you think about the euro dollar. Just because I'm interested to sort of hear what your input would be on the dollar generally. You know, if this is the case, because the thing is this inflation story that seems to be coming into play. I know China's only one area, but we are seeing inflation pick up right across the board. You know, I've been looking at the numbers and pick up in Canada as well from some of the inflation numbers I saw yesterday. But if that's the case, and I know the CPIs don't look like they're boosting there, but the purchasing managers index has been, and this is the number they're talking about, the PPI here. And that's where they saw that some of those inflation numbers. So remember, we're looking at a basket of them. This is the consumer price index, which will follow eventually off the PPI. So PPI should be first because the producers will pay higher for manufacturing the goods, but then eventually it's going to get passed on to the consumer. So it's not always going to be the case because those factories have to remain competitive. And there might be enough slack for them to absorb the inflation, but eventually, if it sustains for too long, then they will pass it on. And I think this is the number that people are trading on today, mate. So I'm interested to hear your thoughts on the euro dollar and see whether you are short on it or whether you're taking a long.
When you're ready, mate, I'll go through
Yeah,
that for you.
yeah. Let's have a look.
Are we good to go? Okay.
Good to go.
I'll address Jaira's question first up, and I've got some rules around this, Jaira, that maybe you're not aware, and it goes like this, right? I've got a perfect, well, I won't even call it perfectly formed trade line, but I'm sure that's the one that you're seeing, and I'm also sure that you're seeing this little insignificant bar, or is it? Because it's closed below the daily pivot, as has just about everything else apart from that one today. But my rule is this. Well, there's two things here that I don't like. One is that these touches are very close together, and I don't like that. I'd much rather see a big gap, what I call spacing, or frequency of test. So the frequency of test here is too great for me. I'd rather see it nice and uniform to play that particular setup. Now, that said, I can totally see the scenario you're looking at. So we've approached the trade line, pull back away from it. That's one of my favorite plays, right? But this is the high of the day, and it's not a new high. If it were a new high and it were the high of the day, I'd be willing to trade into it. But it is not a new high. Therefore, it's no good to me. In fact, it's a lower high potential. Well, it's a lower high based on these highs here. So I really don't want to trade that long at this point. That won't stop it going, of course. I've also got an untested weekly pivot here, and my bias at the moment is based on this really, really strong resistance area that we're at. Now, last week, you'll recall that we attempted to trade this as a false break, and we got one position that got break even, and I got belted on the other. Not because it was a bad trade, but because I managed it very poorly. We should have taken profit here, right? Or got out, one of the other, because it was a perfect bounce point, and that's exactly what happened. That's why that's why we have these chart patterns on our chart to give us exit points. And I just simply wasn't in front of the charts, as you know. I was on holidays last week and didn't see it. Anyway, that's my bad. What we've done really is come back to the top of that range, and now we're back inside it, and we've also retested it on the daily chart. So my bias is most definitely short based on that bigger picture. But on this one here is the clanger for me. And from everything that I'm reading and I'm seeing, everyone's looking, well, I won't say everybody, but I read an article today that was 100% pro the euro. And, you know, they're calling it up here somewhere. And that's fine. Every analyst has got their different ways of trading. I see this as a clear false break. This is the monthly chart, right, of a major level, not just the trend line, but also this level here. We've false broken it once before, and now I think we're false breaking it once again, and we've had a retest of that. I actually don't know why I haven't got an order underneath that bar there with my stop loss above it, or even above the current bar. There should be plenty of time to do that. But if what we're anticipating, I'm, like I said yesterday, I don't know that I'm anticipating it, but I'm aware that there may well be a stock market correction on Friday or around Friday. And if that's the case, and it goes south, then the US dollar should rally and rally strong. And that should well push this into the market. And if it does, then this is down here somewhere, in my humble opinion. So, you know, there's worse trades to take than this one, I've got to tell you. This is a very clear false break of that trade line and this horizontal level. Look, I will place that order, and I'll place it before Friday. I've told you I've been looking for ways to trade this. I think that's a clear way to trade it. If I'm wrong, this should just keep going like everybody says it will. And that's fine. We won't get taken into the trade. So, mate, that's kind of where I'm at with the euro.
Okay.
I'm at strong resistance, and last week's bar obviously was a clanger because primarily because of the bad numbers that came out of the States on Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
So that was an emotive
move.
Yep. So that was an emotive move, and I think we're going to get a correction on that this week.
Yeah.
So I'm a bear now. Interesting.
Well, you know, I wonder as well, mate, because, you know, we've been talking about the 14th of May very specifically as the date, but because it is the kind of 56-week thing, I think any time from now, and I think it would be incredibly impressive to say, you know, if we do start getting the correction, we're seeing some jitters, some genuine jitters today. I think we saw jitters yesterday at the end of the session for the US, and now we're seeing jitters in the UK market today. Bitcoin's down. You know, there's quite a few risk on things that are down, and this is where things do start to get interesting, and they do send us a message, because if you're trading the FTSE 100 and it's down, and yet the Nasdaq and the S&P or something else, you know, something else that's risk on, the Aussie, these are up, then it doesn't send as strong a signal as when you start to see easing in the Aussie, easing in Bitcoin, easing in the FTSE, easing in the Nasdaq, easing in the S&P. All of these are starting to produce this particular message, and we're at the 11th of May, so we're in 3 days of the potential D down, and I'd say that's close enough. And also,
I said weeks ago when this first became a topic.
Yeah.
That do you really want to wait till the 14th if this is going to happen? It'll be too late. It'll be too late.
Yeah, exactly. And you know, looking at the FTSE, I was looking at that trend line to come out at, but actually, you probably could take something off the table if you can get into the short. Bitcoin, as I say, is shaping up quite nicely for a downward move right now. Interested to hear what Shukri's got to say about that. But Bitcoin looks weak to me. And one of my favorite barometers for Bitcoin is looking at Argo blockchain, the stock that mines them, and they've been showing sell signals for the last week, while Bitcoin popped to the upside. So and it's been a really accurate signal. So they're saying sell Bitcoin right now. Maybe not change it to a bearish sentiment, but you know, it doesn't appear to me that it's going to get through 60,000, and we might be looking at that, as I say, right across the board, where this risk on is just coming out of the market, and it could be that the inflation picture is what is going to drive it. You know, it's possible that these CPI numbers are going to drive it. CPI pops to the upside. Inflation definitely is starting to be heard and felt right across the globe. A CPI print to the upside significantly pops the dollar long, and of course it's going to put pressure on equities. And if it puts pressure on equities, then we're looking at a global system that that maybe isn't so keen on taking quite as much risk at a very high point. So a 10 to 20% correction from where we are may well have the catalyst tomorrow. So we could be looking at the 12th of May.
Absolutely. Look,
It's probably,
and we may not be looking at anything. I mean, that may not be a thing even.
If I say that the market's going to crash on the 12th of May, on the 11th of May, will that be as impressive as somebody saying it's going to crash on the 14th 3 years ago? I'll take that one.
Let me go with this. And this is how incredibly misleading things can be. If you have a look at this chart here, you can clearly see a head and shoulders here. I mean, it's absolutely clear, right?
Yeah.
But look at this chart, the daily.
Yes, the inverted head and shoulders. I got you. Yeah. So,
you know, if I'm actually serious with myself, I've also got to place a long here.
Yeah.
Because the neckline's broken.
Yes.
And it's been retested. So I've actually got to buy the euro dollar here.
But is it because the price is currently under the neckline, isn't it?
It is currently, yes, absolutely. And
I mean, doesn't that suggest to you a short though?
Well, absolutely, it does.
Yeah.
But I've also got to place a long here, just in case it doesn't go short.
Yes. Yeah.
If you're with me, so
I am with you.
The way I trade is cause and effect. So absolutely, Lewis, there is a big key reversal bar there, as there has been. So that's kind of where I'm at. I'm at short, long term here, right? But medium term, I've also, if I'm serious, I've got to place a long here based on exactly the same analysis, right? But right now, Ash, as you say, today on an hourly chart, as I've just explained to Gyro, I can't go long yet. I'd have to see that break and be retested before I could go long.
Yeah.
Because I won't trade into the high of the day. It's pretty much, it's a rule of mine. So unless, of course, it is a new high. If it's a new high, it's a different story.
Yeah. I've just seen a message, mate, that Shukri is in the room and he's got 2 game-changing days for the group in crypto. Ooh. So I'm quite intrigued to hear what he's got to say.
Absolutely. Do I need to do anything else? I don't think I do. No, we're good. G'day, buddy.
Hello. Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, hear you loud and clear, mate. How's things?
Good. Great.
Awesome. Game-changing. This is sounding interesting.
And today,
you've whet our appetites.
This is where I think crypto really changes lives.
Okay.
Hopefully it will change more. I mean, seriously, more lives. So I'm going to show you something. This happened yesterday. This is the 3rd most important crypto ever. And it got listed yesterday.
Oh, okay.
Now it's called Definity.
Yes, I've been hearing about Definity, yeah.
Right, ICP. So it's probably the first one that goes straight into Coinbase. Because they go through the smaller exchanges and then they go to Coinbase. But this was listed simultaneously everywhere. Tier 1 exchanges. So that's how big this is. Okay, so clearly this is something significant. I mean, they're saying that after Bitcoin and after Ethereum, this is the 3rd coming. Okay, because this allows you to build applications straight on the internet. You don't need a cloud and all that. And it's running through a very specialized blockchain. It has its own ecosystem like Ethereum and all that. So, you know,
it's going to build applications. Sorry, so just talk us through this, mate. You can build applications
directly on the internet. You don't need to even have a cloud.
I see. So you don't need to have any link. You don't need to have any kind of software yourself. You're just going to just like go onto the functionality that they're going to provide, and you can build your own apps here.
Yes, you can build your own apps here. So this is why, see, this went straight to Coinbase Pro, which is because others usually take some time before they go here.
Yeah.
Goes here straight. Of course, this has very huge investors like, you know, Andreessen, Horowitz and all that. Mark Andreessen and all those ex-Netscape people. So this is a big deal. Now, I think one day in the future now, we have to ask, hey, how did you get the IDO here? Yes, some of us in the group got this token. Some of us got it. Here's the deal. Now here it is. It was an IDO in 2018, but it was so big, so they had listed already. They gave an airdrop, okay? They gave an airdrop to people then. Basically, you had to do, you had to be in the Telegram group. You had to be for a certain time in the Telegram group. And you basically just sign up. And when you sign up, you have to do KYC, which is your passport. Now, remember, this was 3 years ago. So at that time, now I think when you hear about KYC, people do it willingly because people accept that as fait accompli. You just have to do it. Nobody complains. 3 years ago, it was not the case. Okay, it wasn't the case. So not everyone who not everyone got it, although this was the easiest thing to do at that time. Just go sign up, just go to the website, do your KYC, and get this. You had to pay $9 for your KYC at that time. It was $9, okay? Now we say, of course, now that we know what happened, it's easy to say that, okay, why didn't you pay that $9? Are you stupid or something? But during that time, KYC was new. Paying $9 for KYC was even newer.
Right.
They were very secretive about this. Very, very secretive. So a lot of people thought it was a scam.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a lot of people that were there seriously didn't go in. So let me show you what happened yesterday. Now the value of the airdrops now, okay, it's already in the wallets. You would get 119 ICP or 256 ICP or 28 ICP. Okay.
Yep.
Here's the deal. Now let's see the price of ICP. This is if you were longer, and of course you came later. It was this, which was
I see.
It was one of the most fairest system, because what I know is that everybody that wanted to go in within that time period kind of got in. Whether you paid for the KYC or not is of course a different issue. But let's look at this crypto market cap. Look at that. It came in. It's now number 6.
Wow.
It's now number 6. This is new. This is just listed.
Wow.
Going straight into the top 10. Number 6. Now let's calculate now. Now this is the fun part. This is why
$400, $440 already.
Now let's calculate the value of the airdrop. Let's calculate the value of the airdrop now. Oh, what if you came in late because Johnny came lately, you didn't miss the trade. This is the good thing. You didn't miss the trade. This was one of the fairest distributions that I saw at that time. Okay, so this now would be worth around $12,300 US. $12,300 That, how can I draw here? I have to draw it. I have to make it more dramatic. 12,300 US.
Nice.
This 119 would now be 119 times 119 times 442. This would be, times, 52,000. $52,598 US. Basically, this is what you made for signing up. This.
Wow.
256 times 442 would be 113,150.
Wow.
Okay, and this is what you got. Okay, and that changes lives, because if you put it in ringgit, this is about 50K ringgit.
So we're talking the 556 ICP still only cost you $9.
Yeah.
You're
correct.
kidding me.
I'm not kidding. That's why I say it's so hard to believe, right? That's why this is like super phenomenal. 52. That's why it's a big day for crypto. It's one of the mind-blowing days. This is like 200, 14,000 ringgit. You can buy a house here in Malaysia. You're gonna have a nice, big house in the village, in the city. You could buy a condo here, quite a decent one. So amazing. 113, don't talk about this. This is almost 500,000 ringgit. This is like 500,000 ringgit. And look at that. And that is something that I say when crypto changes lives. There was no trading, guys. There was no trading.
Yeah.
There was no trading. It was just going and signing up, and it was a very fair distribution. But again,
so with this, mate, this particular company, or this particular product, ICP, when it was first talked about, would you have looked at it as a kind of basket of potentials and gone, you know what, I'll buy a few of these different ones, and this was the one that happened to work out, or would there have been a lot of research gone into this and said, I like the management, I like the people that are running this thing, I like the concept, I think that they've got good tokenomics, I think they've got a good infrastructure, so this is the one I'm going to buy. So what would be your process? Is it just a blanket bot? Let's just buy it, because if you're spending $9, you can spend a lot of $9 and get $113 return and make a lot of mistakes and it not matter. So is it just blanket everything and just buy everything around this sort of thing, or is there something a bit more refined and sophisticated?
I would say it's the first one. You could have done it like this, but you'd probably be late. Because you had to be in the Telegram group for a certain duration,
right,
in order to get it. Yeah, so this was one of the hotter projects of 2018.
Right.
That was touted as the Ethereum killer, okay?
Another Ethereum killer.
Ethereum killer, and it's finally in now. And this looks like the real deal now.
Right.
The thing is that at that time, they decided to cancel the public ICO because they got so much venture capital already. They say, hey, we got enough money and we're not a public thing. So thanks to all you supporters here for supporting us, we're going to give you guys an airdrop.
I see, mate. So hold on. So now you said Ethereum killer.
Yeah.
This isn't what I initially understood. So what this is doing the same thing as Ethereum does, in as much that you can use the Ethereum ecosystem to create your own coins, and this is doing the same thing, but it's got a different technology because you're not having to go through the cloud and everything else. You can just do it straight online.
Correct. And this
I see.
Own ecosystem. This also has its own tokens.
Yeah.
Already have a lot of companies developing on it. So look what happened yesterday, man. Look at the high here, 1,500. It's went like crazy to 1,500, and then as usual got dumped. Again. Now it's like 463. But this is what happens.
Goodness me.
Yeah, and look at this. This is the moonshot. This is what we call it.
1,500. So forget the 112, whatever it was, dollars. You actually could have more than doubled that.
Yes, look at that.
If you'd sold at the high.
Sold at the high level. Of course, you don't get the high, and our tokens can only be sold today, just unlocked today.
I see.
So yeah, but I think this is going to go to 1,000. So, and on the average,
what's this moon zone thing?
This is what it will be. Okay, like 29,119 or 238. Again,
I see.
This is like a game-changing, mind-changing stuff for only a mere $9.
Unbelievable.
Unbelievable, right? Unbelievable. And why do I say that? Again, you can make crypto the most complicated thing in the world. I try to make it very simple. When I say this, I just have seen this before, because IDOs or new lists, it's like stocks, it's like the same like stocks. First they pump and then they dump, and then they pump again, right? Because of initial euphoria and all that, and then it goes down.
Yeah.
Up again. So I've seen this before. I've seen this in flow. I said it on Sunday that during flow, it went down by 40%. It was pumped up 100 times, and then it went down 40%. And then after that, it took off on a 7x.
Mm-hmm.
So if you go by that, which is here, and then we got dumped down more than 40%, but it was down yesterday to about 250. If you go by 7, it's going to be like 1,008. But that's why I said this is 1,000. It looks like it's going to go 1,000 easily, 1,000 to 1,005. And funnily enough, when you go to 1,005, guess what? It is at that previous all-time high. We should be very comfortable doing that. So again, that's why you see this and you just see something totally amazing.
I see. I see.
1,005, that my airdrop will be worth 178,000 US dollars.
Right.
There are a lot of people in our group who got this because some of them were my previous group from 2 years ago. But this is what happens, you know, from generation to generation. See, just cryptos is really coming of age now. This was in
It is.
Yeah, it is. Look at that. This is in 2018, and in 2018, what we got was only worth this. All of this were worth like $500 only. So this is why I said sometimes it's good that they lock it. Sometimes you have to see this in a different way in crypto rather than say, oh, it's not listed. Because a lot of people get emotional. They say it's not listed. They don't do the KYC. They say it's a scam, blah, 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 blah. But you have to know that these are all startups. So those who had, and some didn't KYC and they didn't get their tokens, by the way. They gave it somewhere to the ether.
Right.
and basically when you go through all the process, when you talk about the delayed listing, hey guys, look at it. That thing today is worth about what? 52K US. Is probably going to be worth this, Moon Zone 1 at 1,000 this. Or it's probably going to be worth this, 52K. Now let's be realistic here. Let's be real. Let's be honest here. Let's be honest. The fact is that 99% of the people in the world, or 99.9, and I'm included in the 99.9, would have been so happy at that time to get the 500 for free. I probably would have sold it to you, Ash.
And I wish I'd bought it.
I know. But now look at it now. And the thing is, because of this, that's why I say, people, how this changes things. Because once you got those values in your pocket like this, the guys who got it, and in our group, I think about 7 or 8 guys have got it. I've told them, guys, why don't you guys use this to change your lives? Now, what I mean is this, because they have something called a Definity Starter. I don't know how to spell this. Definity Starter. Basically, you stake some tokens there and you get access to the new IDOs. It's like Ethereum, right? You stake and you get access. So I said, with this money, you should keep an amount of money, stake it there, and then make more from that. And then the rest is just off.
Yeah. So effectively, just ignore it and just get dividends.
Correct.
Yeah.
That's how you do it. That's how you do it. Change it. You don't really have to trade anymore.
Yeah.
So Jared, that's what I said. We are constantly looking for the next ICP. Now, here's the deal, Jared. It's not easy to see.
Yeah.
If I see something and everyone in this room says, including Sui Lewis, and everyone says it's definitive, what does it mean, Ash? It's not.
Yeah. Yeah.
But if Ash says it, and everyone says no, maybe there's something there. That's how this was. That's how this was, guys. That was how this was.
Yeah.
And that sounds effectively like it's up my alley, that sort of thing.
Yes, it is, mate. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. Counterintuitive. I've got a question. Yep. Now, you're just talking about everybody's into crypto now, right? And that's been a growing thing. And now it's definitely the case. Yep. How many of these people are just going to fall by the wayside? A la currency traders as well, right? It's going to be a similar story, I would imagine. Are they too late? And if not, how would you recommend that they start?
Here's the deal. 90% will eventually fail. Not because they're stupid, but because of greed. That's all. When the party's over, the party's over. That's it. When will the party end? I predict June 2022.
Wow. Not far away then, mate.
I don't see a topping here now. And Gordon yesterday also said that in the US, we've got to look at the US. They're the ones buying it because of their dollar. Whereas in Australia, you know, Jeff has a rising Aussie, so it's a different case. But anyway, in the US, because of their dollar, they're driving this market. And according to Gordon, it's not over yet because it's not being, the masses are not in yet. Yes, there's a lot of things. And they are into new things like Doji and all that. Things into like Doji is this weird coin, which is good. You know, Doji is a shit coin, but I love it because it brings people in. I mean, it's too complicated. Then you got to talk about blockchains, you got to talk about smart contracts. So we need people when we talk about Ethereum. But when you talk about Doji and it's just a dog, people pretty much understand that. So contrary to popular opinion, you don't need a use case. You just need to be fun to bring the early people in, okay? So again, why do I say that there's still room to run? Because Bitcoin hasn't tanked. Yes, the alts are pumping, which looks like the end of a cycle in 2018. But in 2018, Bitcoin was also dumping while the altcoins, the smaller coins were pumping. It's not now. Bitcoin is kind of maintaining itself and doing absolutely, positively nothing. Yeah, you're right. See, now there's pig, there's Shiba Inu token, there's a dog token, there's a cat token. Not Patsy Devil yet, coming soon. Be patient.
Coming soon.
This is the thing, Shukru, which I find really interesting with this stuff, and I have come to the conclusion recently that it is that there is something to be said for I can't think of the term, but it's effectively first adoption. So whoever gets there first has got a really good chance of being the thing. And making the big money, and then you get a few others sort of like just around it. And I was thinking about Ethereum this way. You know, why is Ethereum so much more lauded than the likes of Cardano and the likes of Polkadot? And I think most of it is because of that kind of first first adoption sort of aspect to it. However, those coins have also done very, very well. So it's almost like if you were a cowboy in the Wild West and you were the first person to open up a bar, everyone's going to go into your bar, no matter how good or bad it is. Everybody's going to go into your bar. Now, if you have two other bars that open up around it, which are slightly different, people are also going to go to those bars. But when you get 100 bars in the place, then all of a sudden, that's when the game is done and that's when the party's over. Right. And as you say, we're probably a little way off from that. But what I suspect is probably going to happen is not that the crypto world will also be will all of a sudden be over. I just think it's going to shift to the next thing and the next thing, because they're very innovative, aren't they? People that are creating things on the blockchain, they're very innovative, and they are sort of like starting to go, actually, you know what? Look at what Charles Hoskins has just done in Africa. You know what? We can do this with it. We can do this with it, which is it's almost like a new wave. It's almost like the Industrial Revolution, where this stuff actually opens doors that were just not able to be opened before. So I just think that we evolve, and I think that when it comes down to this stuff, you either choose an asset which has got a use case for the next 10 years and sit on it, or you say, let's just go for the ones that blow up and they give us loads of money, get out and shift over here and shift over here, because there's both, isn't there, right now?
Yeah, there's both. You can go into shit coins too. You gotta pull the trigger. You gotta know when to come out.
Yeah.
And the good thing doing crypto early, why early adopters has an advantage. If I'm early and I've made enough money, I can go out way before the crash comes.
Yes. Right? Yes.
Important thing. The thing is, even if you come in December or January next year, can you make money? Yes. But are you going to go out when the fat woman sings? The answer is the market. You think you can beat the market, and that's with the rest of the others.
I wonder whether the same thing, I mean, I don't know enough about sort of all the companies that were involved in the dot-com bubble, but I wonder if there's something similar happened with the dot-com bubble, where there were internet and tech companies that were coming out that nobody really knew anything about, but people bought them because they were tech. And it's the same, with a crypto thing. People are buying it because it's a crypto, but it doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be any good.
The problem at the end of the cycle, because I was last time working for Accenture and Anderson Consulting. Hey, the Anderson Consulting guy even left, MD left to become CEO of pets.com, and that tanked too. And this
Right.
is the problem at the end of the cycle. You say that, hey, this former CEO went there.
Yeah.
Technologies went there. It can fail. Guys, if it wants to fail, it fails.
Yeah.
That's it. It's a cycle thing. No,
Yeah.
I'm not saying those guys are not good. Those guys are good, but they are coming up against the market. That's all. This is the problem at the end of the cycle. Rather than evaluating it for what's really good, you tend to go and force yourself to find something that may work.
Yes, which is why we need a shukri on our side, right?
Yeah, but the problem is there. Are you willing to get out? Are you willing to get out? No, you say no. I want to make a little bit more. No, I know I can do this. No, you can't do that. Sorry, you can't.
Yeah.
Doesn't happen. But I guess now what's different, you're right. If you stick with the quality ones, knowing what's happening now, right? Okay, let me give you an example like John here. John writing music and all stuff. So John can launch a fan token. That fan token can still make money for John because it's something that he issues for his fans.
Yes.
Go on a lower income, but it's still coming in and it's going to go up later when the market is bullish. So now there are ways to defend against all this. Also now I think there are more US dollars, and I'm sure that even during the crash, the value of the US dollars that is staked will still give good interest, because now you have a very safe protocol called Anchor. It's by Luna that gives 20% per annum.
Wow. What, on a USDT?
Yeah, USDT. Yeah, but no, you have to USD. Yeah, you change your USDT or USDC into UST, which is the same as US dollars, and then you get 20%, just like that. And
do you know what I like about that? Is that if you believe that the dollar is a dog of a currency, it doesn't matter because you've got a 20% buffer.
Correct.
You know, I really like that. 20%. My goodness me. Well, I mean, where are they producing these percentages from? Who's giving them 20%?
When you're in crypto and you are starting here, I always say, you are going to become a big kahuna here. Don't lose it.
Yeah.
You have to think about, hey, why don't I put your UST in here and earn 20%? Because here, guys, you might only have 10K. Here you might have 500K. Like, hey, 20% of 500K is 100K. I mean, you're not going to be happy with that? Are you kidding? I mean, rather than thinking, the problem is when they're at 500K, Ash, people say, okay, I want to be a billionaire now. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah, which you're absolutely right, because at some point, and some of those people will become billionaires because they've picked exactly the right cycle to get involved in, but they'll think they're clever rather than just being lucky, which it is luck, for a lot of people. But you're absolutely right. The people that won't be left holding the baby are the people that are wise. They make some money, they put it away. They make some money, they put it away, and get the returns. 20%. Where'd you get 20% from, mate? I thought it was 10%, and you're telling me it's 20%.
20%. It's a great one. So I'm going to talk about this probably in the following. Yeah, it's called Luna, which I'm going to recommend the guys buy up. Terra Luna.
All right.
Yeah,
you're going to talk to me about Luna, mate. So next time round.
20% out, right? But in here, there's a lot of things happening in here. That's amazing ecosystem. And you're right. This is what it's about. It's an ecosystem.
Yeah.
What you see here is the final result. Now, if you are staking inside here, and this requires knowledge, guess what? Inside here, because this is still new, won't last forever, guys, but this is still new, there are even returns of 90%. But you got to do some work. This is the end result of what they do in the ecosystem. And this is also something like Ethereum that you've never heard of. So everyone now has his own ecosystem, like Polkadot, Ethereum. Now ICP is coming for one. So that's where I think the opportunity is. You can go inside that ecosystem and just make money inside here.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's even more. Yeah, that's even more. But it's a lot of work. You have to know wallets and all that. So yeah, that's cool. But now I hope I've changed your perception about airdrops. People say airdrops at $100, $200, $50.
Mm.
So it's now like 58,000 US or 52,000 or whatever it is. Changes by the minute. I don't know, but I'm happy with it.
Brilliant.
Got to have skin in the game, and I just don't trust it. I sit here every Tuesday and I go, my goodness, that looks amazing, but I don't understand it, and I don't know that I ever will.
Yeah, but tonight is another night. So that was yesterday. Today, who got Casper? Hey, John, did you get Casper? Casper is going to be listed. I don't know. I think I'm going to make like 13K to another 30, 40K. I don't know. I don't know the numbers now, Ash. I've lost count, which is good.
It's stopping mattering, isn't it, mate?
I don't know.
So we got another launch today. We a coin called Casper.
But this was an IDO, and I know a lot of guys got this, so everyone's like waiting to that. Okay, another money. You know, because Thursday is the Muslim day, right? Eid. So this is good. So you know, Eid, we have to give money to the younger ones.
Right.
So this is good.
And give them some Casper.
And D-Day, right? So that's what I say. So people ask, do you think D-Day is happening? Yes. Then what do you think D-Day is happening when everything's bullish? Because, dude, if I get free money and the tax is calling me, why wouldn't I sell this free money and pay the tax?
Yeah.
Don't bother me.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now that makes sense to me, so I can follow that and I can actually do something about that. But this other stuff, man.
Yeah, but for Malaysia,
thank
guys,
God you're in.
Yeah, you guys in Malaysia, be careful, okay? Because I read yesterday that the government is thinking, which is mean they're finding a way to do it, to impose. What do you call this tax? This, I don't know, this tax where people make extraordinary gains. I forgot the name.
Yes.
Yeah, windfall tax. So.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, this is the thing.
There's a tax on everything.
Yeah.
Governments right now are desperate to make money, so you know they're probably going to pull some strings. I would have thought relatively recently, if they find a few crypto million or billionaires out there, they'll be thinking, now hold on a minute. There's got to be a way we can get our hands on some of this cash. We are absolutely at breaking point here.
Yes.
You know, US government has debts 100% of GDP plus, actually. So so they're going to go after someone.
Yeah, not yet, John, but I don't know about the Malaysian government, but there's always a first time, John. Now, I know the US government that they can do retrospective, right? They can go back in time. The Malaysian government has not gone back in time for what I know, but hey, who knows? There's always a first time, right? Because there's always a first time they say, hey, you made 52K.
Yeah. Yeah. All right, mate. Well, let's wrap it up. It's been a brilliant show. I've thoroughly enjoyed this one. It's always great to hear that that you guys have made extraordinarily amounts of money from £9. I like those odds quite a lot. If that was a horse, I don't think either. In fact, Jeff, you probably would have backed it because you always managed to pick the losers, but I think you would have picked the winners in this one. And I probably
only
wouldn't
the
have
slow
backed
ones,
it.
mate. Only back the slow ones. But not anymore. That was a long time ago.
Yeah, but I mean, you know, we should be thinking of this in a horse racing term, maybe, mate, and that might enable us to get some of these £9 on to get a return of £100,000. That might be quite cool.
No, I just need to pay someone. I just need to pay someone to tell me. That's all. I don't need to know. I'm just saying, tell me when.
Tell you what to do.
Yep.
Okay. Well, let's wrap it up, mate. It's been brilliant. I've really enjoyed this show. As I say, I always love it when Shukri comes in and tells us about such crazy amounts of
And I sit here shaking my head like that all the time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Astonishing. Just astonishing. Thank you to you, mate. Always an absolute pleasure, especially in a day like today. Thoroughly entertaining. And thanks for being my trading buddy, mates. To you.
You too, buddy.
Thank you to Angel, as always, for producing the show. Thanks to the guys in the room. We'll be back tomorrow to do it all again. I don't know if you want to have a quick rundown of any trades, mate, but I think we're okay.
Yeah, look, I think we're okay. I gave everything I needed to earlier, and we had big moves yesterday, guys. So expect not the unexpected. I'm expecting not a lot today, frankly, and I don't see much liquidity in the market right now. it's kind of up and down in the one spot. So that's my counsel. I'll be looking at the daily charts tomorrow, I think. Not necessarily today.
Okay,
so
nice one.
We'll go for it, yeah?
Yep.
Bye-bye.